What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, back with the video on the pre-release, and that I just won. I went 3-0. I defeated 3 Yamatos, so I played against all Yamatos, and I was playing useless Captain Mid over Yamato 1. I didn't own said Yamato at the time, but Yamato mirror matches really just feels like a dice roll and very much just 1000% luck based. If you win, you go first, and you just put them at 0, then they're forced to have a blocker or they lose. So there is that. And so that's kind of why I just opted to play Kid. Thinking about it now, I mean, I got very lucky. I'm not going to sit here and say, but luck is always a part of pre-release. I've been luck sacked. But we're going to talk in today's video about the cards that I have chosen, and then some of the key cards that I think really matter. Obviously, I think I didn't even get that great of a pull compared to what everyone else had, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. We'll go through kind of just by color. So Inazuma, it's really just a body. You pretty much 3 5s, 4 5s, anything that can potentially swing, you're going to want to. Again, you do have to keep in mind, blockers, 2Ks are a must. There aren't a lot of blockers, and there aren't a lot of 2Ks. Actually, one of my blockers was in my pre-release pack, which is why I had opened it, was the hope for another blocker, because they do actually matter. So there's value in opening your pre-release pack. But yeah, just a body. Same thing here with Schneider, just a body. But this card right here, Shiraya, best card in the deck. If you're not playing Yamato, this makes their Yamato leader worthless. This is one of the best cards in the deck, one of the best cards in sealed, mostly because, again, it makes their leader ability worthless. It also can like stop a kid 12, so very strong being a blocker. If you pull this, you're 1000% playing this. Again, just a body here. Won't be able to resolve the other part of the effect, but you just want to have those options to establish a body. Now, I went ahead and played this. Lily Carnation, I had extra space, and so I chose this because Shiraya is film. So if I had saw Shiraya, I could technically have 2. And so that's kind of how I looked at this. Otherwise, it's a 1K. But that was the reason why I went ahead and added this in when I was complete and still had space. Now, this also, best card. Some people, like, this stops kid, so this can save you. This card is your saving grace. And so on play, discard 1 card from your hand. Your opponent's rested leader may not attack until the end of their next turn. So you play this, and then boom, or even like you play this on 4, it stops a Yamato swing from going at you. So it's not bad by any means, but it's stopping kid, very strong. This, again, just the body. You don't really get to be able to use their effects, so they're just countering bodies. I also, Daruma, I don't think was good, just because I can't use the ability. And so it's really just a 1K. But Hammond, blocker, great. Again, just a body here. He does have an effect that you could potentially use to get rid of like a blocker if they have a blocker, and so you can push for game. Blino, blocker, conditional. Garp. Okay, he's just a body. Niji once again can remove the like blocker if you need to, since like you can only use it at 10 Dan because you have to have equal, but you can use it at 10 Dan. Just another body with El Drago. Zephyr, again, just another body. I never actually found the opportunity to play him, but having that, because not everybody's going to be playing the same leader, I still think holds up, even though it has no counter. 2Ks matter. Play all your 2Ks. You definitely want to play this. It's just that good. If you play him on like 6, you could really just banish as a strong ability, but he is for sure playable. Absalom, again, just a body. And Nupe, I actually thought I could use the ability round 1, but then like there wasn't any card I'd rather just have, so. Ors, 5/7 or 4/7, so like you can use him if you swing one then like KO it, or if you have like something small. Honestly, I think this would be kind of cracked in Zoro. They're using Zoro. 2 Cerberus, one of these was my pre-release. Obviously, you play those blockers. Sindri being a 2K. Aja, 2K. Those came in clutch. Him, of course, the trigger is really good. Any trigger that's like 3 life or less, play this card. You want to play those just because like you hit those out of life and that can define your game for you. And then, you know, he's got an okay ability. Onami, busted card. Busted card. You can do banish, double swing with Eustace, or you can trigger it out of life and KO something. Again, just a 3/5 with Genbo. Hiyori, once again, just that 2K. Dinjiro, again, I hit this out of life as a trigger. Very strong. Very strong. And then Raizo, again, just one of those triggers. Something to keep on your radar. And then for the events, so I had 1 Meteor, Strike of Love. This card was very strong, especially if you're playing against Yamato. You can use this, take 1 life when you're at 2 because it doesn't matter on their attack, and then you gain 3,000 power for the turn. I think the Gum Gum event also has something similar, but you don't take a life, but it gives you like power for the turn, which is very strong. Same with this Billionfold World Trisilosism. It's a plus 4K, but you have to have 4 or more rested, 8 or more rested cards. Remember, attached on are not rested cards. So, but it does count your leader and it does count your characters. So make sure you're at 8, but 4K, so it stops like Yamato can do a double swing to try to put you at 0 when you're at 2. So pretty much it's okay to be at 1 against Yamato. You want to be at 2 if you're playing Eustace. But if you're playing any leader, it's okay to be at 1 versus 2. Because it makes the leader ability's effect worthless. KO up to one of your opponents. So this card is really good for answering Shiraya. Never really saw a great instance to play this, but again, I don't think there's a play to place this. But now, of course, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. This card is the best card. The best card in this set. This card, I saw it every single one of my games. I would argue it won me every single one of my games because they would have like they'd hit a trigger and play like this body, and so they had a 5 and a 4, and I would just clear both, and then of course this drawing 1 plus making your leader gain 1 for the turn. I still think that's still really good, and then negative hollow. So now let's talk about what leader you should play. So I like Eustace. I think it's fine. I think it has a slight edge against Yamato. If they just don't go super aggro. Because Yamato is really strong if your opponent doesn't see any blockers, and it's really strong against Yamato, but it's a complete dice roll. So you eliminate like dice roll games by playing Eustace. I beat all the Yamatos, but some of them did establish bodies, hit those triggers, and Gravity Raging Tiger. Now I will say, I think underappreciated is Zoro. I think you could 100% play Zoro leader because there's a lot. There's 1/2s, there's 2/3s, so you can spam 2/3s and swing 5s, and then your opponent either has to answer those or they have to hit you. So if you're playing against a Yamato, they're a 4 life leader, they're already down, and you can establish a bunch of cheap bodies that are going to put pressure on them, and they're either going to have to swing and those become blockers, or they're going to have to just really try to just get there. If you have a blocker, you might be really good, or Shiraya, but I think Zoro is super playable just because, again, like they have to focus their attacks at your characters because there's so many small drops. Plus, you have the 1/3, the new Gordon. So yeah, I think if you see a bunch of those, Zoro could be a play. If you have Yamato, I think Yamato is like a very strong evergreen leader and completely playable. I think the 3 leaders are Eustace, Yamato, and Zoro. And I think if you don't see a bunch of blockers or like 2Ks, maybe Yamato is just the play because you can just put more aggro up there. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, so if you get a Yamato, I know some people are buying them at my locals for like a lot, like $5, just because like everybody was trying to pull one to use. And some people were straight up just playing their alts. I think it's a good leader for the event. I still think Eustace holds up, and I think Zoro is also super viable, and I've been seeing some people win with Zoro. As always, I think the approach that you do obviously does matter, but I think you can see results with either of those. If you've played in the events and you've won them, let me know what leader you're playing in the comment section below. And if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. It helps me out a ton. Thank you.